Hi everyone, I'm Sky Weston and this is second part of the FPS tutorial series in Godot. So in this video we are going to add weapons for the player so we can shoot anywhere, have a basic ammo management and a bunch of simple effects. So let's begin. So since in the last video we had implemented player's movement. So this is done. So now let's move ahead with creating the weapon. So for now I will create a very basic weapon, a placeholder weapon. We are going to add the final 3D models later on in the series. So let's create a new scene and let's call this player weapon, and I will save it inside our player folder. Okay, and also let me just change this color of the background of the environment. I'm not sure why it always defaults to the that brownish color. I don't like that. That's why I changed it. Let's create a 3D node. I will name it display placeholder, and within this I will create that basic pistol that we will be using as the weapon for player, and later on when we add the 3D model it will be adjacent to it and we can disable this. For now let's create the pistol. So I will make it using basic box mesh, and we want our pistol to be facing in this direction, that is -z. So let's get to this view and to the edits. Let's make it 0.2 and x as well as 0.2, and this is our upper, and let's also add a material to it. I will have a basic shade of black. Okay, so this is it, and then I will duplicate this mesh and create a lower, and let's make this a little bit smaller, and also make sure that we have this mesh as unique, so any changes I do to this are not reflected on upper. I will go with something like 0.6, and I will keep the material shared between these two meshes, or maybe I should say between these two nodes, because we haven't added a material to the mesh itself. Let me just make it maybe 0.5. Okay, I think that is it, and we can I think disable snapping. Okay, and yeah, this is it. I will adjust these two such that their pivot is somewhere over here. Okay, and this is going to be the pivot of our overall node, and I want this to be somewhere around here. Okay, all right. And one more thing, I think it's a good idea to just see how the weapon is going to look like in front of our player. So let's add the player weapon as child of camera root, and then I will put it a little bit ahead, and then I will go to two viewports and select camera and switch to preview in the bottom viewport, So now we can see the weapon. Now let's adjust it so we can see how it will look like in the game. And I just realized maybe we should make the ground a little bit more brighter so it's easier to see the weapon. I think it looks good. Okay. With this done, the weapons display is ready. Let's also add some basic animations. And I will again make it a child of display placeholder because later on when we add the final 3D model, it will have its own animations. So let's first define the idle animation. Okay, and I will make it the default one which auto plays on startup. And first I will add keyframes. Okay, one more thing, I will add another node, and this is going to be the root node within which we will have the upper and lower, and this is just to make animation easier. So now I will add keyframes to the root node, and it's going to be position and rotation being keyframed, and the upper position be keyframed. And now I have already made the animations before, so that's why I know. Usually it takes a little bit of experiment to see what kind of animation looks good, but this is just a placeholder, so we will just create simple animations. Okay, so this is our idle animation. Now let's create the shoot animation. So for shoot animation, I will again mark these properties and upper as well. Okay, so yeah, now on around 0.1 seconds, I will actually have the step to 0.1 and enable snapping, so it becomes easier to navigate. Okay, now I will rotate this root a little bit and move it behind. I can switch to the local space by pressing T, so our gizmos move in that direction. And now I will move the upper node a little bit behind. Okay, so let's update the keyframes. Okay, so this is it, and finally we will go to our default position. I will select all three of these keyframes and duplicate them. Okay, so basically we can only duplicate each single keyframe. We can't do that together. Anyways, so this is done, and let's update the total length to 0.2. And now let's see. Yeah, I think it's okay. Maybe I can make it a little bit more behind, and perhaps maybe I can rotate it a little bit more. Okay, I think this is fine. And let's do just one final thing. I will select all of these keyframes and set their easing to ease in and out. So this will now look much nicer. Okay, this looks good to me, and let's have a look at it, how it would look over here. So again, let's make it editable, and let's see how the shoot animation look. I think it's fine for now. So yeah, I will make it uneditable again. Now let's go back to weapon, and let's reselect shoot and make it duplicate, and I will name this new animation as shoot empty, and it will remain the same as the shoot animation. And the purpose of this animation is going to be that when our ammo is empty, we will show a message, and the animation is going to be different actually in the final 3D model. That's why I am right now just naming it like this, but in placeholder one it's going to just be exactly same. Okay, so now finally let's create the reload animation, and I will duplicate the idle animation now, and let's name this reload. And now around 0.2 seconds I will basically just rotate it 360 degrees like this. I can just input the value over here 360 and just keyframe it, and this is going to be our reload animation. So I like this one. It's good for basic prototyping. I think I saw this for the first time in Danny's video, and I think it looked really great. So yeah, for now this will do for us. You can try out with different animations, but yeah, this is just a basic placeholder, so I have just went with this. Okay, so our reload animation is done, and also let's set its easing to ease in and out, and yeah, it's all good. With this done, now let's proceed ahead with adding a particle effect, and this is going to be for our muzzle flash, which occurs when we shoot, and this is going to be placed somewhere over here. So now yeah, let's add the process material to it, so we can start with creating the effect. And right now nothing will be visible, and that's because we have to draw something, and for that we are going to draw a basic sphere mesh. So this is it. This is at the moment very huge, so let's decrease its size. I will go with this value which is overall height of 0.2, and now I will attach a material to this mesh, and for its color I will go to something orange, and I will change this wheel to HSV rectangle. I find this much easier to work with, so let's go with something orange, and this is it. And I will copy this same value and paste it for emission. So let's turn on the emission and paste the same orange value over here. Now I can work with this energy multiplier value, and this will make the particle glow. I think I will go with 5, or maybe let's go with 4 for now. Alright, so our draw material is all good to go. Now let's focus on the process material and the overall particle effect movement. So first of all, we want to disable the gravity. So for that we can go to accelerations and gravity, and over here we can set the y acceleration to 0. So now all the particles will just stay in their place. With this done, we now have to make them move a little bit, and for that we are going to have some initial velocity to them. So I guess it's in under spawn section velocity, and it's under over here initial velocity. So right now it's within the range of 0 to 0, basically nothing. So let's add a max value of 1, so we get this initial velocity, and then they will be spreading across 45 degrees, and we want to increase it to 180 degrees. And also I will set the direction to be completely 0. I'm not sure what it does, but I believe if I set it to 0, it will spread across uniformly across all directions. And I'm also not sure, like it's going to be, of course the velocity is going to be between 0 and 1, but it doesn't look like something is close to 0. But anyways, this is it. And this is our velocity done. And now you can see that it's going on for a little bit, and we can reduce the lifetime to something like 0.1 seconds. I think this looks fine, okay to me. And I will make the explosiveness to 1 and randomness to 1, so there's a little bit of a variety to it. And finally we can just enable the one shot option so it doesn't loop, and only when we set emitting is equals to true we see the effect. Awesome. So let me just put it a little bit ahead, and this is our muzzle effect complete. So with this done, we can now proceed ahead with adding logic to our weapon. But before that I would create a singleton, an autoload script, because over there I will be adding a reference to the player, and this will make things easier for us because player will be accessed throughout the game from various different nodes. And for this scope of this project, I think it's perfectly fine to just use autoload and make good use of it. So let's save this as a scene first. I will name this folder as singletons, and within this I will save global.tscn and then attach a script to it. And we don't have to name the class over here, since we will be adding the autoload. It will take care of all the things. And now over here I will just define player variable. Okay, so the script is ready, and I will go to project settings, globals, and navigate to our singleton and select the node, the scene, not the script. Okay, so I will select the scene and then hit the add button. So our autoload is ready now. Now we have to add a reference to the player, and we can do so inside the player script itself. And I will define I will use this inbuilt function enter tree, which is called before ready, and I will do global dot player equals to self. So our reference to player will be all set. Okay, great. Let me just run the game and see how it looks. Yeah, I think it's fine. Now with this done, now let's add logic to our weapon. So let's add a script to it, and let's set its name to player weapon. Now let's begin by defining some essential variables. So under stats I will have a variable for the weapons range, and let's set it to 1000 meters, something large. Okay, I am going with 1000. And also range is an inbuilt function in GD script, so let's name it to something else to avoid the name conflict. And then let's add references to some of the essential nodes. So first is going to be animation player, and the other one is going to be our muzzle flash. Okay, so let's have them set in the inspector. So this is our animation player and this is our muzzle flash. Okay, so the first thing I will do is connect the animation player's animation finished signal, which is emitted when an animation track ends. I will connect it to this function on animation finished, on anim finished, and yeah, this is it. And let me just see the signature of this function. I can just copy these parameters and paste it over here. So for now, let me just add an underscore. We will do a check on it just shortly. For now, we will just play the idle animation after like any animation completes, whether it's the shoot animation, reload, or shoot empty. After it they finishes, we are going to play the default idle animation. Now we are going to define the shoot and shoot function, and this is going to be called from above, basically player's weapon manager that we will create shortly. It's going to be very simple, and inside this method we are simply going to call the shoot animation. So that's all we are going to do. Now it's this function which is shoot bullet, which is going to do the actual shooting, and this is going to be called from our animation player, basically our the track, the shoot animation track. Okay, so there are a couple of things we are going to do. The first is that we are going to consume ammo, which we will define setup shortly. Then we are going to play an SFX. Then we are going to play the particle effect, the muzzle, play muzzle effect. And now we will do the last step is going to be the detecting hit, right? So here we have already set up our muzzle flash, so we can just do muzzle flash dot emitting equals to true. So this is it. And now for detecting hit, we are basically going to cast off a ray. Okay, and for casting of a ray, I think it's a good time to have a node which going to represent our shoot point. I will actually make this a child of root. Okay, and let's place it something over here, right? And I guess it's a good idea to add a reference to that as well. Or maybe I'm sorry, we shouldn't do this, because if I'm casting off a ray, I will like to do this from the player itself, because the gun, the weapon is towards the right and it's going to be a little bit inaccurate. So let's not do that. I'm sorry, this is something it is not required for our case right now. We can remove this, and now let's proceed ahead. So first we will set up our space state, or perhaps I should say we will get the space state, and this is basically get world 3d dot direct space state. And let's look at its type. I will copy it, and so we can also, like, do this, which works, but I mean, for me, for readability purposes, it's still kind of pointless. It's good idea to have, I mean, at least to me, it's good idea to have the type mentioned over here. Now let's define the starting point for the ray. So I will name this variable as from, and it's going to be nothing but our player's camera's position. Okay, Yeah, so that's why we don't need shoot point. We will just use the camera's position because that's how we will going to show the crosshair. I mean, the crosshair is going to be at the center of the screen, and that's also the center of our camera. Okay, so this is where we will make use of our global singleton, and we will go to our camera mg dot camera. Let me just see if I have no. Okay, so I haven't I don't have the reference to the camera, so let's add it. So this is going to be camera mg dot cam dot global position. So let's go to player and add a reference to our camera. Okay, so this is done. This is our from position, and now let's go to the to position, which is the target position of the ray. And this is simply going to be our existing position, which is from plus, or maybe I should say minus, or maybe let's go with plus for now, plus our global dot player dot camera mg dot cam, and we will go with camera's z direction, which is global transform dot basis dot z. And as I have mentioned previously, our camera is always pointing in the negative z direction, so we will make it negative, or we can just right over here subtract it, and that is it. And we also need to multiply this direction vector because this is currently unit vector, so the distance won't be much. So let's multiply this by our shoot range. Great, so this is done, and with this done, let's have the query through which we will find out, we will cast off the ray and we will get the query. Okay, so it's going to be our let me just quickly check the name. So it's physics ray query parameters 3d dot create. So yeah, over here we are going to provide the from to the from and to vector positions, and then the following, which is the collision mask. For now I will just set it to 1. We will later on update the values, and for exclude is basically nodes that we just want to exclude, and that's going to be our own weapon and player. For now we can just keep it simple and just set it to self. Okay, so let's pass in the from value, the 2 argument, and for collision mask let's set it to 1, and for exclude we are going to exclude the weapon for now. Okay, so with this done, yeah, I will also have the type mentioned over here explicitly. Okay, so with this done, we will finally use our space state to cast out a ray and pass in the query. And this method will going to give us a dictionary which will contain the following information of the node which has been collided with this ray. Okay, so let's store it inside of result, which is going to be a dictionary. So if it does collide with something, we will have this condition true. Otherwise, if it doesn't collide with anything, we can do something over here. For now, let's just print down the node's name that has been collided with this ray. Okay, so this is pretty much it for now for the shoot bullet function. We will populate it in a while with more stuff. And now I will have another function which is going to be called via animation, and this is going to be shoot bullet empty. and for now let's keep it empty for now. And then we will proceed ahead with the reload function, and similar to the shoot function, it's going to play the reload animation. And yeah, this is it. And in reload animation again, we are going to call this method, which is reload ammo, which does the actual reloading, and this is again going to be called via animation. Okay, so this is it. Yeah, so with this done, let's create the player weapon manager, which will allow us to call out these functions from our player. So the player weapon manager is going to be a component. So let's go up here, and inside of components create a script, and let's call this player weapon manager, and I will name this class as player weapon manager. Great. So first of all, let's have a reference to the weapon, which is our player weapon. And just to make things a little nicer, I will put it under references group. Then I will have a start function. For now, let's keep it empty. And now inside of here, I will have an update function. So this is going to be called inside of process. So the logic here is going to be very simple. First of all, let's define the input actions for shooting and reloading. For shooting, it's going to be simply left mouse click, and for reloading, it's going to be R. Great. So with this done, all we have to do is if our input is left mouse click, then it's going to be weapon dot shoot, and if our input is reload, it's going to be weapon dot reload. Okay, so yeah, this is it. And so now let's add our node over here and name this to player weapon manager, and to it we can add the script player weapon manager, and in references we can attach we can set player weapon as the reference. So great, this is it. And we just have to go to the player script now and add reference to our weapon manager, and yeah, simply call our weapon manager's start function and our update function, which is going to be inside of process, which is weapon manager dot update, and pass in the delta argument. Great. So with this done, we can now test the game. But actually before that, I just forgot one thing to do, which is that in our player weapon I had defined these methods which had to be called from the animation. So let's do that so that we don't miss doing it. So I will go to the animation player and let's select the shoot animation first. And over here, I think over here at this part we will add we will call the method. Okay, so I will hit this plus icon and say call method track, and then select the player weapon node, and then over here I will right click and insert key and select shoot bullet. So up here our shoot bullet function is going to be called, which is this whole raycast logic, and all these things later on will be executed. Similarly for shoot empty, it's basically the same animation, and here as well I will call the method track player weapon node, and then just call the shoot bullet empty function. Okay, and finally in reload, let's say up here I will add the method track and select player weapon and select reload ammo. So for all these animations, we have added the method calls that have to be executed. Great. So now we can just run the game, and of course we have to set the reference. I will go to player, and in weapon mg I will set player weapon manager's reference. Okay, so this is it, and now if I press, we can see we are able to shoot. And there are a couple of things you may have noticed. First of all, as soon as I shoot, our muzzle effect is falling behind, but also if I get too close to the wall, our weapon is clipping. So let's fix this. And also one more thing, right now I just did a little mistake, and that is what I want, that as soon as I start clicking, or basically as soon as I'm holding down the mouse, I want the shooting to continue. Right now it's only working on clicks. So let's fix this simple thing first, and it's just having we just have to call the is action pressed method for shoot. Okay, and if I just save it, and yeah, this is fixed. Okay, so this simple issue is fixed. Now let's fix the muzzle issue. Okay, and for this all we have to do is go to our player weapon, select the muzzle flash, and ensure that it doesn't operate, the particles doesn't operate on global space. So for that we have a local coord property over here. We can search it and type in local coord, and I believe it's let me just give me a few seconds. Okay, so I got it. It's under drawing. Let me just remove it. Yeah, so it's under the drawing tab, which is okay, so it's under the drawing section, which is over here, and not part of process material or draw process. And we check this property, and so now it will going to, as it says, if true, particles use the node parent's coordinate space. So yeah, we want it to follow our weapon. Okay, so let's turn it on, and now if I shoot, this looks much better, and the particle effect is not falling behind. Great. So with this done, let's fix the clipping issue, and for that we have this material that is being used for both our meshes, and all we have to do is go to the transform field, transform section, and select use Z clip scale. So first let's see how it looks right now. It's still clipping, but we can lower down this value and it will fix the issue. I will actually go to 0.1 units, and yeah, this is it. And to be honest, I don't know exactly how it works. All I know is that it does something with the Z clip. Yeah, but I am going with this solution. Okay, so yeah, this fixes the problem, and yeah, so we have implemented the. And also one more thing, you may have realized that when I'm shooting, the muzzle effect is also not showing, it's getting clipped. So we have to also update the material, the draw material of the muzzle flash, to have the same property set. And yeah, so let's do that. I will go to transform and click on use Z clip scale and set this value to 0.1. And now the shooting is working perfectly fine. Great. So the shooting is working great. The muzzle flash is not getting hidden by the wall. And also one more thing, that when I shoot, we can see that wherever the raycast is being hit, we can see the name of the node being displayed, which we did in over here. Yeah. And suppose if I clear the log, and now if I fire up in the sky, nothing shows up. It only shows up when I shoot up at something, and the world is basically this right here, the CSG combiner node. Okay, and within which we have all these different nodes. Alright, so this is done. Now let's just add a simple impact effect that is going to be displayed so we can see the feedback on screen. So for that, what I would do is I will go to the player weapon. I will duplicate this muzzle flash and rename this to impact effect, and then I will do save branch as scene, and inside of main I will create a common folder, and over here I will just save impact effect scene, and I can now delete it from inside player and just open the impact effect scene directly. And so the effect is going to be similar to the muzzle flash. For now we can just go with it, and if you want you can change the effect, but for this tutorial series I will just go with the same muzzle flash effect, with the only difference being that I will change the color of it. So first of all, let me just disable one shot so I can easily edit it. And then a thing you have to take care of is that we want to make sure that our process material and our draw pass material and the mesh itself, all of these things are unique. So yeah, it is unique, and also our mesh and the material, and usually they become unique as soon as we make a separate scene for it. So that's good, but still it's a good idea to just have a look, so that if we change the values of any of these things, so it doesn't change the muzzle flash itself. Okay, so yeah, so since all of these things are unique, we can simply change the color of this impact effect. So earlier we were using orange. I think I will go with something like yellow. Yeah, I think this is good. I will copy this and paste this in emission as well. Maybe let's make it a little bit darker. Let's copy this over here again. Yeah, I think this is fine. So now I will enable one shot again, and this is going to be our muzzle effect. So yeah, our impact effect is done. I will add a script to it, and its only purpose is going to be, once the particle effect is done, we remove this node from the scene. So we can check the signals. It is finished. So when finished is emitted, we simply remove this node, and yeah, that is it. Maybe we can make this script a little bit more common, but for now let's go with this. Let's keep it simple for now. Okay, so that is done, and back in our player weapon, let's add let's show that impact effect. So now in player weapon, I will add a reference to the scene, which is impact scene, impact effect scene, and its type is going to be packed scene. So let's do that. uh, for impact effect, we will say quick load, and yeah, this is already in here, impact effect.tscn, which is the scene that we created. So now I will instantiate it over here. So first of all, let's get the collision position, and I will call this collide pose, and I will call this collide pose, and this is going to be result dot collision. So we will not get the autocomplete over here, unfortunately. It's a dictionary, and with dictionary I guess we don't get the completes autocompletes that easily, but we can refer this intersect array method, and we can see the values it provides us, and this is position, which is the intersection point. This is what we need. Okay, so we have this, the collision point, the collide pose, and now let's spawn the impact effect, show the impact effect. Yeah, so I will name this variable impact effect, and it's going to be impact effect scene dot instantiate. Then we will add it to our actively loaded scene, so it's going to be the main scene, and for this Godot gives us a handy function, which is get tree dot current scene. Okay, and inside of it we will add our impact effect. So when we do this, our impact effect is going to be at the global origin, so we need to set its position. So its global position is going to be the collide pose, that is the hit position. Okay, and finally we set its emitting to true, and that is it. So now let's run the game, and we get an error which says invalid access to property or key collision. Okay, my apologies, I don't know why I just wrote collision. It's position, I even showed you guys. I'm sorry, it should be collision. Okay, so let's see now. Okay, great, we can see the impact effect. Awesome. Now with this done, I think it's a good idea to have a crosshair, so it becomes a lot easier for us to see where we are shooting. Okay, so now let's add the crosshair. For that I will go to the player scene, and inside of this I will add a control node, which is going to contain all of our UI for the player, and I will name it HUD, HUD, which is heads up display. And inside of this we are going to have the crosshair as well as the UI that will show up the ammo and health statistics. Okay, so let's stretch this HUD to the full screen and set its filter to ignore, because we don't want it to block input and consume it. So just make sure that you do this part, and after this I will just create up the crosshair, a very basic crosshair in Godot using color rect node. Now of course you can use your own texture and add in the texture rect, but for now I'm just using color rect. Okay, and since I have already made it before, so I will just plug in the values as I know that. And for the horizontal it's going to be the same but inverted. And now I will put both of these at the center and make them a little bit gray, and also have their filter set to ignore. Now I will have another control node. I will call this Crosshair, and I will set its size to 0, place it at center, and make both vertical and horizontal child of Crosshair. And I will also have its filter set to ignore. So the default value of stop is only needed for, like, say, buttons or any input elements, or maybe a UI node where we want to block user input, which is related to especially mouse movements, because that's where we most of the time use uh, input events. So yeah, so I will set it to ignore. So let's run the game and see how it looks like. I think it's fine. You can of course place your own texture. I have just used a basic crosshair with the color rect nodes. Okay, so this is done. Now let's create the UI for displaying ammo, and then we will add basic ammo management. So I will add a color rect node again, and let's call this player stats. I will place it at bottom left and color it with a dark shade of gray or almost black, and let it be something like this. Inside of this I will add a label ammo, and here I will just add something like 15 by 15, or let's say 10 by 15, where 10 is the current ammo loaded in our magazine and 15 is the total amount of ammo a magazine supports. And then I can create a total ammo, or I should rather call it ammo total, just for readability. And this is going to be the total amount of ammo that the player has. So it's going to be 60. So now I will make both of these labels text aligned towards the right, and to make things neater I will place them inside of this box container and make this vertical. Great. Now let's align it towards the center left, and now move it towards the right. So this is our ammo part done. Now let's create a UI for displaying our weapon image. For now I will just use these color rect nodes to create a basic block out a basic display image of weapon. So it's going to be let's color it to something like uh, a little bit lighter shade of gray, I mean relative to the background over here. Let's call this display. Now inside of this I will use basic color rect node to create the pistol. You can of course use a texture. I'm using color rect for now, just to make things simpler. And let's duplicate it and have it lower. And this is the same way I made the placeholder weapon. Okay, I think this is fine. I think I will okay, it's okay, I guess I will use the arrow keys. Yeah, this is much better. And yeah, let's put this inside another node for organization purposes. Let's call this pistol. Again I will have its size to 0 and put both of these nodes, upper and lower, inside of pistol, and this is it. And let's run the game, and I think it's fine. Maybe maybe we can make it a little bit smaller, even though later on I will add a health display over here. So yeah, I think this is fine. This is our heads up display ready. Now let's define the ammo management in our player weapon script. Okay, so here we are, and let's define the variables. So basically we will need variables for all these three values. So let's start with let's define the mag size first of all. Let's do this here only. So first let's go with our total ammo, which is, I'm writing this as ammo total because I will show you why I'm doing this. It's just for readability purposes. So our total ammo is going to be, let's go with 250. Okay, and then our loaded ammo is going to be just ammo, and let's say 15, and our max size is going to be 15 as well. And yeah, this is it. And as you can see, you know, I'm finding this to be much neater and much easier to read. That's why it doesn't sound good. Of course, ammo total is a little weird, but yeah, in terms of readability, I really like it. Anyways, so with this done, let's plug in these values so the UI displays them. So I will go to weapon manager and add references to these both labels. So let's have a reference to ammo and ammo label, and a reference to total ammo label. With this done, let's define a function. It's going to be update UI. Inside of this, I will going to set the value of ammo label and ammo total label. Okay, so if we look at ammo, we will use the same exact format. So I will use these placeholder strings. I can't recall what we call them, but in these placeholders I will pass in the values weapon dot ammo and weapon dot mag, and for our total ammo it's going to be weapon dot ammo total. And of course we have to convert this one to string. It won't be done automatically compared to this previous statement over here. Okay, so I think this is done, and let's call this function update UI installed. Now let's run the game, and of course we have to we have to set the references, which I think I didn't do. Yeah, but I think I should have gotten the error as soon as I launched the game. Let's see. Let's run the game, and yeah, I think let me just run it again. Okay, so it's not immediately updating it. It's updating it a little later, and especially when I'm moving the mouse. Let's see where I called this. It was in our player, our weapon manager dot start. Okay, I don't know why I called it inside of input. Mistake on my part. We have to call this in ready. Great, so the value is updating correctly now. So this is done. So the UI code is connected. Now let's make this functional. So in our player weapon, we are going to start with yeah, let's start from over here. When we shoot, we want to consume ammo, and I can now remove these points because we are adding the actual code. So it's simply going to be ammo minus equals to 1. We just subtract 1 from ammo, and then update the UI. And of course I don't have reference to weapon manager, so let's add that. Here we go, and it's all set. Now it's going to be weapon manager dot update UI. So let's see how it looks like. Great, it's working, and of course it's going to go negative, and we are going to fix it shortly. I will not add the condition something like if ammo is less than 0, as the code for it is going to be, the guardrails for it will be a little earlier when we actually shoot. It's over here that we are going to do the check, so we can keep it as it is. So say if some issue happens, we can know, like we just knew right now. Okay, so this is for consuming ammo, and then for reloading ammo, so over here let's first do the reload part. So when we press the R key, at that moment we can have a couple of checks. So first of all, if our ammo is already full, we don't have to reload, there's no point of it. And second, if we have no ammo left, which is ammo total is less than or equals to 0, then we return, because now we have no ammo left. So yeah, this is for reload. And then for reloading ammo, so suppose none of these two conditions were true and the animation played. So in the animation, as you recall, we are calling this this method. So now we have to do the actual reloading. So to reload our weapon, the logic behind reloading is we first get the needed ammo, which is ammo needed, and it's going to be mag minus our loaded ammo. So this will give us the amount of ammo required. Then if this ammo needed is less than our total ammo, so when I say total ammo, I want to clarify that it's the extra ammo that we have, okay, not including the currently loaded ammo. So if this total ammo, which is our extra ammo, if our requirement is less than that, then that's fine. We can just increment our ammo needed to the loaded ammo, which will make it which will make it fill up the magazine. Okay, and yeah, so after this is done, we can just update our total ammo by subtracting the ammo needed, which is the ammo we just used. So yeah, this is it. And otherwise, if we don't have enough ammo left, that is, it's going to be when we have ammo needed is greater than or equals to ammo total, and in that case all we do is simply assign the remaining ammo total to our loaded ammo and set ammo total to 0. That is, now we have just no bullets left. Okay, and this is it. And finally we update the UI, which is weaponmg dot update UI. So yeah, this is it, this is done. And I guess for now the basics are done. Yeah, we can run the game and see it. So I will shoot it, and we can see the bullet is reducing, and that's great. And now let's say I have only one ammo left, and I hit the R button and we reload, and yeah, so our magazine is filled up, and now 14 is subtracted from 250 and we have 236. So this is working great. Now of course, if I as I said before, if I keep shooting, it will go negative. So let's add some guardrails. So I will add some very basic state management. I'm not sure if I should say state management. It's very basic, and just a bunch of if and else with enums. Okay, so I'm going to call this weapon state. It's going to have three states, which is idle, shooting, and reload. And then let's define a variable, weapon state, and it's going to be having the default value of idle. So with this done, I will go to the on animation finished function, and just here, since we are playing the idle animation, we will just do one little change, or addition I should say, which is weapon state dot idle. So that's one thing. And then in our shoot, we will first check if our state equals to weapon state dot reloading. Then we return, and I think I should just call this reloading as it's shooting over here. So yeah, so if we are not reloading, we simply set the state to shooting, and finally we just do a little bit of check that if our ammo is greater than 0, we have something, we shoot. Otherwise we play the shoot empty animation. So with this done, finally we have to go to the reload function, which is called when we hit the R button. We basically check if we are shooting, and if we are shooting, we stop the animation, and then we set the state to weapon state dot shooting. Great, so this is it. I will run the game, and now if I so now our ammo is empty, and the shoot empty function is being called, or I should say shoot empty animation. And now I reload it, and yeah, it's working. And just to show you what happens if our total ammo is emptied out, let's have some small value, let's say 30, and let's empty down our magazine, and let's reload here. Okay, so now our ammo is full. Now I will again shoot, and now we don't have enough of total ammo. Now if I press R, only 6 bullets are going to come up, and then I will shoot again, and now I cannot reload. Of course, right now when I press left click, the shoot empty animation is being played, and it's over here that we will show the warning message. So let's just do that part. That's the last part for our ammo stuff. Okay, so for this, what I will do is create a very common label, which we can use not only here but anywhere for any kind of thing. So I will make a separate scene for that, and this is going to be a label. Let's call this warning message, and I will save it inside of our common folder. Let's add a script to it as well, and I will name this class as warning message, and let's have this text as warning message as well. And I will just do a little bit of customization. So let's have a color of let's say something like yellow, and let's increase the size of this as well. I will make it 24, and then I will have an outline. Let's have 5. Okay, so this is it, and I will then add a very basic simple animation. Now of course you don't have to do this is just for some nice little effects, but yeah, let's do this anyways. So the game looks a little bit nicer, and I have already made it, so that's why I'm just like inputting the values. If I had to do this for the first time, I would have of course played around a little bit. So yeah, now let's start with first having its let's have the default states for it keyframed. So we have the modulation done, and I will then just have the scale be keyframed. Okay, so these are the only two values we need to animate. So we have the reset track created for it. So now in show I can start off with it being transparent and the scale being 0, and around 0.1 seconds I will have the modulation to be fully opaque, and the scale of it to be 1.1. so yeah, we will scale it, zoom it a little bit, and let's have the modulation as well keyframed. And just one thing, that if I scale it, it's scaling from the top left, and we don't want that. We want the pivot to be somewhere at the center, and for that we can set the ratio to be 0.5 like this. So now yeah, this is much better. Let me just change its position again, so it's at the top left. I guess it's just going to be like this. Okay, it's on top left. Great. So okay, so okay, so it was actually 1.1 scales, that's why it was okay, I got it. So yeah, let's now do a little bit of I'm not sure what's the term for this, but I will just zoom in and out a little bit to give it a little nice effect. So I will just quickly do this. So this next frame will be 0.9, and I will keep on doing like this, and finally at 0.5 seconds it's going to be at its normal position, and at the very end I will have its opacity to be 0 again, and but till 1.4 seconds it will be fully opaque, so that we can see the full message. Okay, and yeah, this is pretty much it, and I will select all of these and set its easing to ease in and out. So it's going to look something like this. Alright, so yeah, this is it, done. Make sure that you hit the reset button, so it's in its default state. So the warning message is ready. Now let's finish up its script. So first I will add a reference to animation player, and let's have it set up here. Now let's define two methods, show message and hide message. Hide message is simply going to just set its visibility to false. For show message we are going to have it accept a string, a message argument, and this is simply going to be text equals to message. So since this is a label, it has this text property. We will update it with the message we received, and we will play the show animation. And just in case if we are repeatedly tapping the R button, so we will like to stop the previous animation. So yeah, this is it. And finally we will set the visibility to true, which is visible equals to true. So yeah, this is done. Now finally just one more thing, and that is key if when our animation is finished, I want to connect a function to it on anim finished. So let's define the function on anim finished. And this has the argument anim name that comes up with this signal. I don't think we will use it, but okay, maybe let's do check anyway, even though we have just one function, one animation being played. So that animation is show. So if our animation name is show, though you don't have to do this, but anyways, let's do that. So if that's the case, if it's show, we actually set its visibility to false. So we just hide the warning message. Okay. And one more very important thing, that I will go to mouse, and okay, so by default labels have it set to ignore already. So yeah, so this is it, this part is done. So now what I will do is, we have to place this warning message somewhere. Now since I said that this is going to be used quite often in varying places, so I will just place this inside of global. And for this, let's actually have a canvas layer first, and I will call this UI layer, and this should be at the top. Yeah, I think for now let's go with one. I think it should do it. And I will add the warning message and put it at the center and a little bit above, yeah, something like this. And then I will just have a reference to this warning message, and instead of warning message I will set the reference in enter tree, just like we did with player. So it's going to be global dot warning message equals to self. So yeah, this is it, this is done. Now all we have to do is, in our player weapon, in shoot bullet empty, we will going to say global dot warning message show message, and the message is going to be let's say ammo is empty, please reload. Now of course you can have a much better exciting line than what I have written, but let's go for with this for now. Okay, yeah, so let's run the game. And yeah, just one more thing, that in over here I will at start hide the message, we don't want to see this. And now if I continue shooting, we can see the message being displayed, ammo is empty, please reload. So yeah, one thing I would like to do is that if I press reload, I want the message to immediately disappear, right? So in player weapon, when I do reload, let's also just immediately hide the message as well. We don't want to wait for it to go away. So we can do something like this. Okay, yeah, so now let's test this again. yeah, so this is it. Our yeah, so this looks good to me. And of course our total ammo is also emptied out. So yeah, so this is it for this video. I think I said that we will add a bunch of other effects as well, like weapon swing and a little bit of more things. And I think since this video is already too long, I will going to have that in the next video, and that's going to be a very small video, I promise. And yeah, this is me first time trying to speak like this. In the past, in the previous video, I spoke without any script, and this is the second video. So yeah, this is something I'm trying to practice, as this is much more easier for me to do, as I really don't like editing and then writing script and all that, and that really makes the process of making tutorials too long, and I don't want to spend that much of time. So let me know, what do you think in this kind of tutorials? I ramble a lot and fumble a lot, and that really makes it these videos quite long. But yeah, I will finish this tutorial series, and after that I will see if I will be making videos in this format or not. So yeah, for now I think this is all from my side, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.